All right, everybody. Smile. We got some guests in here today. Listen, I know we started a little late. That is okay. I do want to let you know you have tuned in to the Mordsgiggles I Said It radio podcast. I am your host, Asia Mordhorse, aka Dallas Finest, and I have three very, very special guests with me. One whom I love so dearly, one who I like and care about, and one's just a handsome, cool dude. Okay? I have with me today Miss, I know her as Corn, but her name is Christina. She's at the end there in the gray.
Hello.
And then her son, her eldest, Mr. Davian.
Hey, how you doing?
And again, we have my firstborn, Nevaeh Monet Mordhorst.
Hi.
So now, anybody on the, as you guys do know, my just go ahead, let it go. The laptop is still on the fritz. So if you're on the page, it's on my phone and somebody's calling in. So if you hear that buzz, I'm sorry, but I don't care nothing about it. It just happened. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you guys cannot hear us out there for any reason, please let us know so we can turn up the mics and make sure you guys hear us. So, first of all, I'm going to let Miss Christina introduce herself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do. She's a very interesting woman. She got a lot of stuff going. And I will turn the floor over to Miss Christina.
Hello, everyone. I am a Tacoma Hilltop native. So,
Hilltop?
Yes. Graduated Foss High School.
Falcons! Sorry, go ahead.
Unfortunately, I wish I liked the Falcons a little bit better than that. But now I support the Stadium Tigers. Anyways, I own my own hair salon that is called Salon Dama. Stands for daughter and ma, or daughter and Mary, was I like to say, because I call my mom Mary when it comes to business. I also own a mobile business, painting business. So your paint and sip, I actually come to you in your home. And I have 3 kids. This is my oldest. He will be 15 in January. And I had 2 little girls, 5 and almost 3. So that's me.
Well, all right. 3 kids. And this is the oldest. The oldest. It's funny because he's the oldest of 2 girls, 2 little sisters, and Nevaeh is the oldest of 7 younger brothers. Mr. Davian, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is David. I'm 14. I've been playing soccer almost my whole life, and I play football for Stadium High School. I'm a freshman. So, yeah.
Nice, perfect. Nene, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because you don't want me to do it. I'll get you.
Hi, I'm Nevaeh. I'm 16. I go to Mount Tahoma High School.
She's a T-bird. Boo.
Outside of school, I babysit my brothers a lot and just hang out with family.
Do you enjoy babysitting your brothers a lot?
Yes.
Do they listen to you?
Yes.
You got that power over them is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is the Mordsgiggles radio podcast. Remember, the show is Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and on Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. A couple acknowledgments of people that we see in here. Sasha, thanks for tuning in. Danielle, Miss Owens, thanks for being. Mama's watching. Look at that. My own mom is paying attention to the show. Hey, boo. Love you, Mom. And I can't see that name under you from over here. Miss Mama Head, that is Angelina's mom. Now, for you guys that are wondering, where is my co-host? She is out on work. She will be back tomorrow, but she has some things she had to take care of, so she is not here. But we're still going to have a great, amazing show. We have some topics for you guys that I really want you guys to weigh in on and kind of give your own perspective, but hence the kids being in here.
The cheering.
We believe the children are our future. Okay, we will teach them well and let them lead the way. Y'all know this song. Anywho, the first thing we want to, we kind of want to start in on is kind of like sexuality in high school. We're going to start there. I'm not saying this is not a right or wrong conversation. It's just kind of a how do you feel about it? It came up big for me last year. It was the year before last. I had a phone call from my son's school, and this is elementary. And they said he was involved in somewhat of a teasing incident. So I get up there and I meet with the principal first, and they said there's a girl who identifies herself as a boy. So I was first of all kind of blown away, like this is like a 9-year-old child. So, it was I've never heard of it. I get it. I get it. It's becoming younger and younger when you feel like, hey, I like girls, I like boys, I'm this, I'm that. To each his own. I'm no judge to anybody. But so I asked the principal what happened, and the principal said there was the main kid who started teasing her, calling her a girl, and all the kids at the table were laughing at her because she felt slighted and disrespected because she identifies herself as a boy. So before my son even comes in a room, this little boy walked. So the kid came in, the one that identified herself as a boy. This looked like a full-grown girl. So, I was shocked, like, oh. So after we talked and I told Elijah about how everything went, I went home and I talked to a couple people about it. How do we actually talk to our kids about situations like that? I don't know if you guys have.
Well, what I just noticed is how you even struggled to even identify he, she, or as a kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think the first struggle is how do we identify these individuals? And we want to respect who they are and who they identify as, but just simply in just what you spoke, you even as an adult, as a parent, like, oh, I came in, the kid,
right.
that, like, I think that's like the first common grounds that a lot of people don't realize, that like we don't want to offend people, but like how do we even like say it correctly to even be able to talk to our kids about this?
That's true. And it's very true, because when it comes to sexuality, especially in school or with the generations under us, i.e. our kids, a lot of parents just go by that don't ask, don't tell thing. Like, as she just pointed out, it was hard for me myself to kind of, how am I going to broach this conversation with my child? Because, number one, listen, I have gay friends, I have transgender friends, all that. To me, I'm not here on this earth to judge anybody. Your sexuality, the way, what you want to identify with is what you want to identify yourself with. My struggle came as an adult. I'm seeing pre-transgender. I think that's a safe way to say it, because she wants to be identified as a boy in a middle school. Now, I'm not saying that as there's something wrong with it. I was just like, wow, this is young to make this decision. Like, I get it. If you feel that's who you are, that's who you are. I'm not your parent. And if it was it's one of those things where I think of, it was my child, how would I deal with that? I honestly, I'm going to love my child either way, but that's a tough one. I don't know if you two have seen that in your guys' high schools yet, where you see a boy want to be identified as a girl, or a girl that wants to be identified as a boy. And if you have, how do you guys, or how do your peers deal with it?
Well, I think a lot of it just has to do on how, like how popular they want to be. Like, sometimes when it comes to them let's say a boy trying to identify himself as a girl, usually I mean, nowadays things are tougher for them because there was this technology and all this, and everybody's just going on social media and posting it. So I think that when they try to like stick out with a bigger crowd and be around more people, things tend to get worse unless those people have known that person for a while. So that's what I think. And then usually when it's girls trying to identify themselves as a boy, usually isn't as serious, honestly. But for some reason, when it's a boy trying to say he's a girl, it always gets worse. And I don't know why that is, but it's just nowadays with the technology and stuff, it just intensifies by a magnitude of a lot. So that's what I can say about it.
And before you go, Nene, I hope you guys out there are paying attention to that, because that was going to be my next part. Even growing up, it's easier for a girl to make that decision to whether I want to be a lesbian or I want to be, and I'm stuttering trying to find the correct words here.
No,
Okay,
that's actually what stopped me is when he said, it's harder for a male to feel as if they're a woman, but it's not as frowned upon. I would say frowned upon. Those are air quotes. For a woman to be a man, I thought that was actually. I honestly kind of feel the same way. Unfortunately, you know what I mean. I don't even know if that's unfortunate, but that was the one thing that triggered me in what he said. Honestly.
So, what do you guys take from that? Would that be something that has to do with the parenting or society? Meaning, are we going to say it's okay for a girl to make a change or make their mind up and say, hey, I want to be a man or I want to be with a woman? But when a man, a boy, a preteen or a teen makes that decision, we want to hold them on a different pedestal and almost public shame them for making that decision. But when a woman does, it's okay. That's just something really to think of, and I think it starts with us, how we mentor our youth, how we teach our children. At the end of the day, we all have a right to make our own decisions. Now, I get it. Like, my daughter here, she has a right to make her own decisions, but that's within my say, hey, I'm daddy. But still, I'm just saying, if she came out and just said, hey, Dad, I'm gay, I'm good, what's up? Whew, that'd be a tough one, but whatever. We're not there yet. What about Mount Tahoma? Have you seen that in Mount Tahoma, sweetie?
Yes, there's more of girls saying or wanting to be boys or to be called a boy and not a girl. I wouldn't say they would get bullied. There wouldn't be a problem. They get lots of friends. They get along with people. They hang out with mostly dudes. But when it comes to boys wanting to be girls, they get bullied. They get teased. They get objects thrown at them. People say cuss words to them. And some has moved away from the school. I have seen most of them cry and go to the counselor, but sometimes the counselor doesn't know how to deal with it. So they take that to another level, and that level is not a good choice. But I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. Suicide. So yeah.
That's a real thing. It's funny. First of all, it's funny to listen to you talk because you talk like me. But anyway, I'm one of those people who think a lot while I'm talking, so that's why it'll come out super choppy. So it's funny just listen to my daughter because I never paid attention to it before. Also, I'm mad at her right now because she wouldn't give me a kiss before the show started. But what she said is a real thing, and I guess we can slide because it's one and the same kind of. This ultimately leads into a very, very nasty state of bullying. Like, this is a big, big, big deal. And again, I have 5 kids. Christina has 3 kids. My kids haven't went through bullying. But let's just take the last 10 years. How many children have went into a deep depression, have committed suicide, has brought in a knife to school, have shot up a school, and how many of that has been a direct result of bullying and there's no consequence for the bullying? But when the kid acts out, and I'm not talking about some of these crazy kids that's doing it just to do it, I'm talking about when a child hangs themselves in the backyard, when a child gets their parents' gun and deuces themselves off, basically, because they feel they have nowhere else to turn, because this is so swept under the rug. And there are really parents out here like, stand up for yourself, or fight back, or stuff like. That's not the society we live in, okay? There's a lot of fights nowadays that a child cannot win. I'm all about if somebody's going to attack my child. Listen, I'm not about fighting, but listen, you hit my child. First of all, there's 4 boys, so you hit one, you're going to have to deal with all 4 of them. Believe that. And if you hit, she got 7 brothers, so we're not worried about that. But I'm not worried about that at all. But still, like, this is something that's been so swept under the rug. It's ridiculous.
But I mean, like, has it really been swept under the rug, though? Because I think it's not much different than us addressing all the killings that have been happening through the police brutality. I think that what we fail to realize, and I was just born in '83, I swear I'm 25. But things are going viral.
Yeah.
I mean, even this conversation is finally going viral. How often do we have the opportunity to have the conversation to even talk about this? There's an example that I'm going to use, and I'm going to put it in a nutshell as, the best I can. And this is something I actually had a serious conversation with my son that was very serious. And we found out about someone that we care about deeply. We care about this person deeply. This person is a minor. This person has a great family, a great background, and was put into a situation where social media set him up. Like, someone actually set him up to be in a situation where they used that against him. They took that information and they set this individual up. It's almost like to catch a predator. It was almost sickening that way. And I had a conversation where my son had to come to me and say, hey, this is not okay. And my first response was, Davian, this is exactly why people are shooting up schools. This is exactly why these kids are offing themselves, because they can't just trial and error anymore. There was a lot of things that we've done, Asia, especially because we're the same age, that, like, if we was in a movie theater, nobody had on social media somebody like put a hand on the lap. Or you know what I mean, or like on a school. But right now, I had to tell my son, like, if any of this rumor or this gossip or this drama ever comes up again, you slap that right out of their hand. I mean, you just say, no, I'm not going to do this. This is not okay. Because I think that children should be allowed to have trials and errors like we were. Mm-hmm. Except for that now it's social media that, like, it's not about, like, oh, let's just do 3-way. And maybe we'll catch somebody up on the phone. Now they're going social media-wise. And they're literally going out of their way to try to destroy someone. And then they sit there, and these parents don't know. I don't know. If I don't keep up with his social media, how am I supposed to know? But this individual could have been a situation where that could have been their last moment. They could have been hurt that bad for that last moment. And I was proud that my son came up to me, because I'm honest, and I talk to him very openly, don't I? Mm-hmm. And I had to use that as an example. Like, nope, this is exactly why schools are shot up. This is exactly why these kids are killing each other. This is exactly why retaliation goes. They're just like a little bit of like these gangster social media. Yeah. Like it's like that's just my personal, and that's just something that we went through just recently. And I was just proud that my son would share that with me. And I was proud that he was willing to say, like, no, like, we have to have enough people to say, like, no. Right. I'm not sharing this. You bring it up, I'm turning it off. If you bring it up, I'm telling someone. I'm going to an adult. Like, no, we're not sharing this. We're not going to do this. Is not funny. It's not a joke. Like, this is, they should be able to they don't have that no more. They don't have that freedom to just experiment with life, and, you know what I mean? And have those trials and errors and have those private moments. You know what I mean? And they're adolescents. They should be able to figure some of that stuff out without everyone knowing.
Listen, that's a very, very real statement and a very real story. A lot of people need to understand that our freedom of choice is not a necessity. It's something we are given, that we have, that it's ours. And you cannot take away our freedom of choice. Now, I get it, ever since the social media era, our freedom of choice have been stripped away from us because you can't do anything without somebody overseeing it and then want to put it up and then spinning it to their liking. It's crazy. It brings me back to my first time ever dealing with a bully. Funny enough, it was the first fight I've ever been in my life. It was my freshman year at Stadium. I'm not going to say the kid's name, but my friend was...
Did you win?
Oh, but you're about to get the whole story. Okay. It was my first fight. I haven't had one fight before this, but my buddy was getting bullied. He was like a Chamorro kid, something like that. And the dude that was bullying him, I'll never forget his name, but he was like 6'6". And my buddy, I'm looking at him, and he just looks like he's on the verge of tears. This kid is like pushing him, slapping him. My guy is like 5'6", 5'7", getting slapped around, and I just made a statement that's like, come on, Blank, won't you pick on somebody your own size? Not thinking he was going to turn his attention to me. And he said, oh, what do you mean, like you? He was like, we'll see after class. Now, mind you, I've never been in a fight. I was a little afraid here. Okay, I was scared, okay? So before class ended, I dipped. Now, if anybody that went to Stadium knows that when you're coming out I don't know if they still have dance class, but if you go to the right, you go straight into the lunchroom. If you go to the left, you go up the stairs. I dipped out and went straight to the left before class ended because I couldn't see the kid. Okay, well, I can say his name because I'm not going to say his last name. Danny. Okay, I didn't see Danny. Okay, so I go up the steps, or I make the left to go up the stairs, and he's standing there with two of his friends. And immediately, I'm like, doggone it. So he starts talking this crap. Mind you, I've never been in a fight. And he hits me. And it was a good hit. I mean, spitting and everything came out of my mouth. I'm like,
like a closed fist?
It was a closed fist, full-blown punch. My first time ever getting punched. Like, seriously. And I flew back into the lockers and everything. So he came at me again, and I, like, just grab him. And I'm kind of trying to hold him up. So, he, you know, and I remember everything. He's talking to his boys like, look at this. Beep, beep, beep. He's trying to wrestle. He can't even fight. And I, like, push off of him, and he hits me with, like, a 3-piece and a biscuit. I mean, my face is just, like, I'm just catching all this. And I had this necklace on with this little thing my aunt got.
Was it your grandmother's chain?
No, it was my aunt's chain.
Okay,
she bought us all these things.
Oh, man, that's
And he grabbed it and yanked it. And for some reason, I kind of lose it at that point. And I sound like such a B-word. I'm like, hey, man, my auntie gave me that chain. And he swings at me, and I don't know what happened. I ducked and hit him in the stomach. And he was, like, slumped over like, oh, I'm going to kill you, dropping the N-bomb at me and everything. But he slumped over. I don't know what came over me. I'm about a good 10 feet away from him, and I yell. And run straight to him. You know how crazy I looked when I did that?
I was going to say, was that like a John Yukin type?
And socked him in his face.
Mortal Kombat?
He fell over.
Oh.
I grabbed my chain. I ran. It's the first fight I've been in. The first fight I ever was
I'm
in.
glad you got your chain back.
You know, I got the chain back. But this dude was a bully, and everybody knew him for being a bully. So I can only imagine. That was 1999 was my freshman year. Wait,
no, it was
98, excuse me.
No, it was
Yes,
not.
it was. I graduated 01. But the way my birthday falls, I graduated later.
No, your freshman year should have been 96. You graduated,
I graduated 2001.
I know, but 99.
Wait, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. That's 4 years. Somebody talk to her. Who
Somebody do the math.
That's 4 years. Whose homegirl is this? Okay?
Angel, save me now. Which Angel was 2000? Angel's on here. Save me now.
Angel, it would be 98 freshman, 99 sophomore, 2000 junior, 2001 senior. I graduated in 2001. Like, she still don't believe me. She's like, okay.
Because you know it really is a 96, 97, 97, 98, and then it's like 98, 99, and then it's just like, 2000, 2001. So.
She just basically called me a super senior. She said, you was in school for quite some time, Angel, don't lie.
Well, no, actually, I would be the one that's a super senior since I can't get it right. I'm thinking here like 96.
You know, it's been so long. We've been out of school
That's
for
the
a while.
youngest of being of 7. Like, I think I graduated in 91. Maybe not.
I mean, it happens like that. But again, like I said, this happened when me and Christina were young buckaroos. We know, and this is my opinion, and I don't know who all agrees with me, the generations after us are far worse than we were. And they're on some other stuff. Like, they just don't care. I mean, we turn on social media, and we see kids swinging on teachers. We wasn't swinging on teachers. Like, that wasn't happening back when we was in kids. Like, it's out of control. This is why I could have never been a teacher. I can't do nothing like that. I can't have no unruly... First of all, I don't repeat myself to my own kids. What am I going to repeat myself to a child for? My mom didn't repeat herself to me. I just think I'm about to repeat myself to a child. No, I ain't going to happen. Then a child going to swing on me? Going to be some furniture moving. Okay, dust everywhere. And then there's going to be 3 casualties because I'm big. I'll belly flop all over the place. Anywho,
They were smothered.
Gravy train. But so here's a question, and I don't want to dip into you guys' personal life. Have either one of you guys ever been bullied?
Yes.
Oh, you were quick to say that. Yes. And I asked that question because I asked her this earlier, and she said yes. I was like, why didn't you tell me? But go ahead, tell me the story because.
First time?
There's been more than one?
Yes.
Speaking of Mike, sweetie, go ahead.
My first time getting bullied was in elementary. I was actually going to McCarver. That's on the hilltop too. And I used to get bullied by... They were mixed, white. I didn't really have a lot of friends. So... most of the time I would get bullied because I would wear I wouldn't wear the same clothes, but we had uniforms. So I would wear the same pair of pants or the same shorts, every week. Because everyone had different colors. So they would bully me. Some bullied me about my hair because my mother did not know how to do hair.
A damn shame. Excuse my French. Go ahead.
So I would, they would pick on me, call me names. They would, some of them would try to be nice as a jokey way and be like, hey, do you want to play this? The first time that happened, they asked did I want to play rocks.
What is rocks?
They picked up rocks and technically just threw them at me.
So they old school King James Bibled you and stoned you?
Whoa.
They were...
Wait, were you living with me when this
rocks
happened?
from?
No.
Okay, she wasn't living with me. Actually, anybody out there that know me knows she wasn't living with me and this happened, and I didn't hear of it because I'd be in jail right now.
Yeah, right now. He ready to just
Right
go
now.
back in
I
time.
don't mess around when it goes to my kids, especially my daughter, my boo, my baby. The devil is a lie. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Some would pull my hair because I would always have it flat ironed. My grandmother would flat iron it just so it was done and so I wasn't going to school crazy, looking crazy. Some would make fun of my shoes because I think I would wear Skechers because that was the only thing my mother could afford at the time. And I wouldn't say I got sad. I wasn't sad. I wouldn't cry. It was kind of a thing. I would just shake it off, go home, play a game, and forget about it. But then it came to a time where I fought a person who was bullying me, and then right after I fought the person, the next day I ended up moving with my dad. And
It's been smooth sailing since she got with me. Did you win that fight?
yes.
She keeps telling me she got hands, but she tells me that stuff. Like, I'm not trying to just make that a center of attention, but she be telling me she'll do some things. But before we get to Davian, a lot of kids don't react that way. She said she'd just go home, she'd shake it off, and she'd forget about it. And she's a product of her father, if you ask me. I have a long fuse. I've been slapped in public by a grown man and walked away. Because I'm always looking at the consequences of what can and will happen. So it takes a lot to get me over the top to where I'm going to really act out. But there's a lot of kids that don't react that way. There's a lot of kids that they go home, they cry, they wonder what's wrong with them. They wonder, where is my escape from this hurt, this pain, this turmoil that I go through every day with this. And this is where it comes to us as parents, us as fathers, mothers, role models, to teach. Listen, before each year we have a long discussion. No bullying in my family, especially because I have 4 boys. So, and my boys are big. Okay, like the youngest 3 are half black, half Samoan. They're going to be huge. I mean, they're already huge. Okay, Savon, my oldest son, he's going to be the run of the bunch, but he's still going to be big. And I'm like, you guys can't bully, okay? Because once you get that label sticks with you. And a lot of people, if they're anything like your dad, I tell them, you bully a member of my family, a lot of you can't bully my baby brother. Then you got to deal with me and my brother Chops. You couldn't bully my sister. Then you got to deal with me, my brother Chops, and my brother Raymond. We're 3 big guys. Like, so we need to teach our kids. And we really need to have this discussion on this bullying thing. Davian, have you ever been bullied?
I couldn't say that I wasn't necessarily bullied, but I've been, I've taken a lot of stuff until I just went off. Like, there's been times where a week goes by and they're just talking and running their mouth and talking and trying to stay cool and just let it fly by. And then it gets worse and worse. Like, there's been times where I just not try to get in a physical altercation because it's during sports and I'm not trying to get kicked off the team. So there's been one time where it got bad to the point where it wasn't just him and a bunch of his friends versus me. There was times where it was him versus a bunch of his friends versus a bunch of me and a bunch of my friends. And there was one time where it was 3 of his friends with him in PE. We're supposed to be going to the next class. Well, no, the day was actually over, so everybody's getting ready to leave. It was 6th period, and I was by myself. And then he pushed me into the Jason. I went to Jason Lee, so there's the bleachers they pull out, and then there's the metal bars on the side, so nobody falls over, but they hurt. So he pushed me into there. And I was just done. This is after 2 weeks go by. It was during football season, my 8th grade year. And he pushed me into there. And I just got up. And it was it hurt. But you got the adrenaline going. So you don't necessarily notice it. So I just sprinted straight at him. And grabbed him. And almost it was football. So I didn't think of anything else to do but just tackle him. But I tackled him into the wall. And his head went into it was concrete wall. Head went into it. So it hit the wall, and then thing is that one thing I noticed is that in the middle of me swinging, all his friends just walked away like they weren't really with him, and that's one thing that showed me I feel like they were behind his back because they were scared to get bullied by him himself. So they try to act big and strong, but at the same time they're really scared of the one in power. So I got in a fight. Didn't lose for sure. Did not lose.
Do you think that? So you said you didn't think that was bullying. Because you said you wasn't really bullied, but you don't think that was a consideration of being bullied of some sort? I just noticed that you said because I don't know if you guys remember, he said he wasn't, but then this is what I would think be a form of being bullied.
Well, I say nowadays, to me, that didn't seem like bullying, because nowadays bullying is like 10 times worse because there's social media. But to me, it wasn't bullying because I never really got mad. Just like, okay, all right. Like, as he's talking, never really got mad or upset. He never really said anything. Half the things he said didn't even make sense. It's just that everybody was laughing about it. So it didn't really make sense. I could always prove him wrong because he would try to say I did this or did that. Like, I could prove him wrong. And I always had people on my back, and I didn't like him at all either. And I had one person that like almost the whole school was scared of on my side at the time. So there's been times where he stepped up on him, he's backed off because he got scared. So I never thought it was bullying because I never got upset about it or mad until the last time where he pushed me. So I feel like bullying to me gets a lot worse when there's physical altercations and stuff like that.
In social media.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's very relevant as parents that we need to let our kids know the signs of a bully. Some kids just don't know who's the bully, and I know that kind of sounds like, okay, let's just label someone. No, I'm not saying that. Let's just be real. We all know the bully when we see the bully. Okay, we know the bully. The bully's usually the one that's going to pick on the people who they think are weak. The bully's the one that's trying to establish himself, but doesn't know where he wants to establish himself. He wants to be accepted in such a way to where he turns to, oh, I'm going to use my brute strength and ignorance and try to intimidate everyone into liking me, which backfires into, okay, now you're just an AW. I can't say it because there's kids in here. A jack boogie. You guys know what I'm trying to say out there. It's
a jack boogie though.
Yes, that's a little more. It's crazy. I even think of it myself. Like I, to be honest with you, I've been told I was a bully once in my life, and I had to tell the dude. I was like, listen, there's a big difference between a bully and me. What I do, I'm a jokester. I play around. Everyone out here knows me. I clown. I get everybody. But it's never from a place of malice or any type of malicious intent. Just everyone's fair game with me. But what I am known to do, if I have hurt your feelings or if you felt that I've disrespected you in any way and you come to me and let me know that, I'm a man. I will apologize from the bottom of my heart because I never mean to just openly make someone feel not accepted, make someone feel that they're less than I am or the people around. And that's
that's something to talk about though, is that you express that you'd be willing to man up and apologize and stuff like that if someone approached you, but I can say day to day on just a normal subject, there's a lot of adults, kids, teens that don't know how to express their feelings. And you might not realize that they want to tell you, hey, you hurt me, but they're not doing this. I think that's that's an issue right now is no one's helping these people learn how to like communicate and express themselves. Or even if they do, it turns into like, oh, you're weak, or oh, it's just drama, or like, well, there was this post I saw on Facebook. I can't remember it word for word, but it was something to the extent of you can't help the fact that you're a victim in someone else's story because that's how they see you. It's not how you feel, it's how they feel. So, and I probably totally screwed that up, but it's almost like, say I hurt my son's feeling, and if he's never comes to me and tells me, and then I find out later, like, I hurt him, I can sit here and be like, no, I didn't. But if he's actually hurt, I can't tell him he can't feel that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I commend you for being able to say, somebody's willing to tell me that, but, like, let's keep it real. Especially in our black male community, no one's communicating on what they're feeling. They're not addressing, they're not going to the core. It gets swept under the rug. It's under that bridge. So, at the end of the point of what I'm saying is you can't technically tell someone how they're supposed to feel. you know, and if you are the villain in their story, it's still their story.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that it's true. That doesn't mean that you're wrong or they're right or they're right or they're wrong. But it takes communication, and no one's. Let's just keep real. No one's doing that right now.
Right.
No one's communicating. We post subliminal messages and memes and think it's funny, and you know, and then we just gotta get to the next day because we gotta see our kids or take them to school or we gotta go to work or you know what I mean. We gotta deal with this person. Sometimes it's just easier to be like, we'll just go to the next day. You know what I mean? So
Right.
where do we go to communicating? Like, how do we get these youth to talk or anyone by any means?
And you know where I honestly think that where there's the disconnect. When I was coming up, we had the big brother figures. I had a mentor growing up. There's not many men out here that just wants to. What's so wrong with a few of us dads, a few of us men getting out here and saying, listen, let's start a mentorship program, a big brother program. I used to sit up here and volunteer at Jason Lee Middle School, strictly in their ISS program, in-school suspension, because I used to be in there all the time. And all I wanted to deal with was kids that were considered troubled kids, for the simple fact we don't need to be in this society where at the first sign of this kid has something wrong or an anger problem, so let's throw him away to the streets. That's where we're at. You guys, if you guys are not seeing it, that's where we're at. But who do we blame? We have to take a lot of this blame on ourselves. We really, really do, because we're not. And let's just go back to what Corn said. Like, really, especially us black men, it seems like everybody's trying to outshine each other. Let's see who can outdo here. Who got the best rims? Who got the tightest sneaks? And
But no one's saying
who cares about all that?
like, oh man, I messed up, man. That okay.
Yeah.
Like, how do I start over? No one's saying that. No one, you know, like, or like, oh, that wasn't the best route, or like I invested in something that was just stupid.
For
You know
real.
what I mean? Like, but just is no one's talking. Everybody's just like, oh no, I'm good, and post good things, and everybody. That's another thing. Like, social media's not real. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not real.
Come on, tell them.
Like, I mean, it's not. So, I mean, that's.
I just said that yesterday. So listen, there's many people even I know for myself in real life, and they're a total different person on social media. That's so funny to me.
Oh, I'm a hot mess, and then I'm also a businesswoman at times. So
You know.
it just depends.
And seriously, are we forgetting we just had a put the gun down rally downtown or over here?
Yeah, that was Ceasefire. That
Yeah,
was
the
actually
Ceasefire
put on
thing.
by Terrence Howard. I follow him on Facebook. I've met him. He was a spoken word artist. I met him a couple times. I wish he was watching right now, but I gotta learn how to share this. But you know, that was very moving.
Uh-huh.
You know, unfortunately, there was at least 4 shootings. Literally, the days after. I think there was actually 2 on the day of the actual rally that they did off of Portland Avenue. I think there was one during the earlier that night, and then there was one later that night. I get where everybody's trying to go, but like these hashtags aren't working, and like to even hear the mayor say, you know, I go to this rally and 6 hours later I'm hearing about another drive-by.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the people that are doing these things, they're not at these rallies. They're not watching these podcasts. So how do we get people to do that? You know, how do we get them to watch it? You know?
And that's the thing, and this is where, in my opinion, this is where we need to force feed some stuff. It's cool to have these rallies. It's cool to talk about these things on podcasts or whatever, but let's get out there. I mean, there's seriously OGs out here, and let's just call it what it is. There's OGs out here. There's big homies out here. Then there's just real men out here who have respect with the different hoods and stuff like that. Somebody has to make a point and say, listen, let's do some real footwork and try to stop all this. Okay, listen, I'm not Superman. I'm not Hulk. I'm not the toughest guy in the world. But we live in a day and age where you don't think I get nervous sometimes when my kids go to school. You know how many times I've been called because her school's had a lockdown or my boys' school was on lockdown. It gets scary, man. Like it really does. Like that stuff is
because
scary.
she's at Mount Tahoma. I'm still because they do the district wide messages, and I'm like, dang, Mount Tahoma again?
Yeah. It's crazy out here. You know, you guys, it's something to think about. Real fast. Again, I want to thank everybody who has been tuning in. You guys that's been supporting. This is the Mordsgiggles Online Radio Podcast. And I'm your host, Asia Mordhorse, a.k.a. Dallas Finest, with my special guest, Miss Christina.
Hello.
Mr. Davian.
Okay.
And Naynooter.
Naynooter.
Yeah. We've been talking about bullying today. And we've been also talking about some sexuality points as well in the high schools and even younger schooling and everything. And when I started this, I said that I have a platform where I can create or attempt to create change. And that's exactly what I meant. I get it. A lot of you guys sometimes tunes in and you guys want to hear all the jokes. And that's great. You guys know I'm all about that. I'm a comedian. I'm an entertainer. I'm a singer. I'm a comedian. I love to make people laugh. But sometimes I'm serious. I do get serious from time to time. Is that okay? Stop biting on your doggone lips like that before you get slapped. That's how I talks to her. I'm joking. But no, she's here giving me the eye. But
she's probably like, that was actually kind of nice.
But sometimes I do want to use my platform to make a change and bring awareness to things, especially relevant topics and subjects in our society and in our community that as adults, as people in higher places or pillars in the community or the people who just have the means to make a change, let's do that. That's all I'm saying. We can do that. We need to start somewhere. And you know what? If I got it, you guys know me. When I set my mind to something, I'm on it. So if I got to rock by myself with it, I'll rock by myself. But I know enough of you guys out there that this is not going to be we're having this conversation on this show and then it's over. That's not what's going to happen. We're going to put some footwork to all this talk and believe that. And I got something in mind, and we're gonna get a change. We're gonna chip away at this. A little story about Nevaeh here, just because I want to put her on blast and she hates it. Can I put you on blast? Again, this is my only and oldest daughter. Oh, Nevaeh. She was born September 9th. Listen, when she was born, she had, what was it, like her body heat wouldn't stay up.
Jaundice?
So, no.
Was it?
No.
It's one of those.
Why should I even laugh? I don't remember what it's called.
You gotta do skin contact.
That's exactly what I did. The doctor was like, let's just take your shirt off and let her sleep on you.
So she rested in your bosoms?
She did, but this is the weird part about it to this day. And I think she does it unconsciously. She doesn't know she's doing it. Like, look at you, almost fell trying to be cute. Okay, she gets on me and lays exactly how she lays. Like, she can't even hug me without doing it. And she's big, man. Be laying on me and stuff like that. But, you know, that's just a funny story about my daughter. I love her so much. We have our special buns. Even our Lauryn Hill song, when she was a baby, Can't Take My Eyes Off You. It's that song I always sang to her. You thought I was going to sing it right now.
Go ahead and sing it.
I'm not going to do it.
Why don't you go
I'm
and
not
sing
going
it?
to sing it right now because she'll cry.
No.
Yes, you will. You got any good stories about your son? Any bonding?
With my son, since he's my oldest, and I have like a 9.5-year gap between my youngest two. The funny story about him is he was very skinny when he was born. He's very lean, and I told him all the time, like he kind of looked like E.T. I think the biggest part about him was his head. You can actually count his vertebrae on his neck from the front because he was that lean. So it took him a while to grow into his head. So it was one of those things where, like, wherever, like...
Was it natural or a C-section?
Natural.
Oh.
It's a natural. I had all three naturally. And unfortunately, without help, that was...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was...
Excuse me.
It only worked for an hour. The meds worked for an hour. But we used to give him a hard time because wherever his head went is where he went. So we used to be like, squirrel, and he'd be like this, and then boom, just like hit the wall, fall over. I mean, like, it was just like he was Kingdom Come, you know, he was just like a head detective. But he obviously grew into it a little bit better. So that was my story for him. It took him until about, how old are you now? It took him until about like 13 before he grew into his head.
9.
I think we're still working on it. I think we're still working on it.
9.
But yeah, you just debut, boom, just like squirrel, just before you know it, he was on the ground. So that's my funny story of my baby boy.
That's good. That's good. And you got a handsome guy here. But here's a question. Do you guys have any funny memories about your parents? Or any funny stories? Nothing over the top embarrassing, like crazy, you know, because I don't know if I want to put all my business in the streets. But if you guys got
She
something.
still needs a ride home.
One day, my dad was taking me to school. Yeah, it was just taking me to school. And if you guys don't know, he's scared of bees. Any type of bug that flies, crawls, he's scared of it. So,
there's a reasoning behind that, though, and I'll tell you after she's done.
So, he's just driving down the street, and the windows were down, and a bee flies in. I didn't see it, but out of nowhere, he steps on the brake. I don't even think I have my seatbelt on yet.
That's bad parenting on my behalf.
We're in the middle of the street, by the way, and he just hops out the car, and...
I ain't got no bones about that. Listen, I will hop out of a car anywhere over a bee, spider, something like that. We're in traffic. I'm out of there until it's gone.
So you just did one of those fire drills
and left them in the car
and just like put it in the park and just started running around it.
That's exactly what happened.
Gotta go.
Now, when I was younger, my brother and my sister used to catch ladybugs and put them on me. So to this day, if I don't care if it's a fly. If I don't see it coming, it'll freak me out. It'll scare the crap out of me. It'll startle the mess out of me until I know what it is. Now, bees I still don't mess with because I was attacked by I was moving some garbage and there was a hive that I didn't know, and these bees down there covered my body. So that's why I'm overly afraid of bees and spiders. I mean, everybody's overly afraid of spiders. So the
question is did he stop traffic? Did he get out and run around and he just had to figure out what's going on? Like...
No, he just got out the car. Not a lot of cars were coming back and forth, but our neighbor was actually pulling off at the time, and he looked at us like, why are you in the middle of the road?
I think I had to wait till it flew out the car. I think I rolled down all the windows.
I can hear you screaming, though. I know how you scream.
I'm a screamer.
We never found it, by the way.
So you don't even believe it really was a bee. So there's no proof of the real bee.
It could have been a leaf.
It could have been a leaf. Like, I freaked out with little... just things off trees. Listen, that's what it is, man. That's how I roll, and I'm not ashamed to say it. What'd you say, Cecilio? Oh, shoot. Screaming. No. Anyway, what about you, Davian?
I got 2 short ones. I remember, I think it was when I was in 5th grade. My mom had a Honda Sonata, and...
he named the whole car.
She hit... So it was one time she hit a garbage can going down the street to pick me up from school, and it hit the mirror and it kind of broke a piece off. And then over the next 2 months, I swear to God, she's hit the same garbage can like 6, 7 times to the point where the mirror was like almost off. And then the second story is when my mom went to Vegas.
Wait a minute, how do you know anything about
that? What happened in Vegas?
If I told him,
you tell me.
That's what I get for telling.
Pretty sure it was Vegas. I'm pretty sure. and she went. I think she's going to a club or something. I don't know, or to dinner. She fell out the car and hit her elbow.
Why'd you fall out the car?
I don't know what happened.
I know the story, and it was just last year, and it was not the elbow.
What'd you hit?
Was your hand?
No, it was my knee.
Oh, it was her knee.
I have the picture frame.
She was her knee, and she came, and she was gone for like another, 3 days?
Yeah.
And she came back hurting.
Broken.
Like she was, like it broke when she had a little doo-doo bruise.
I will tell the story.
No, wait.
It's one of those things where like, I know I want to tell the story because it was funny, but it wasn't funny. It's funny now.
And then she was hurting for like the next 4 months.
Okay, what's your side of the story?
So see, what had happened was, this was actually just last year, and I've known to go to Vegas like multiple times. So this is like my 13th time going. My parents have been taking me since I was 18. He's been like 6 times. Don't even ask me. My parents don't even gamble. It's their thing. They go all the time. So I went to go for my friend's wedding that didn't end up being a wedding. So they actually surprised me because I already booked it. Like, I already booked it. There's no cancellation. So I told them, like, look, you guys told me you guys are supposed to get married. Look, I'm trying to get away from these 3 kids. I'm going. So whether you guys are there or not, I'm going. So they surprised me by showing up to Vegas, and we hung out. So it technically was the Vegas sign. It's the sign where you normally do, like, the photo shoot in front of it and stuff like that. So who we were with, they were bromancing at the time, which had been, like, her fiance, Brian, and Hiram or whatever. They're bromancing in front of the sign, so they were already to the side. So it's just me and my girlfriend, Jen, and the limo driver, right? Okay. And I got these, like, 6-inch platforms. I mean, I'm 6 foot nothing. I'm actually 5'0".
Yeah, she is.
So,
she's all types.
So, you know, I'm
tiny.
the shortest one there. I'm around somebody that's 6 foot, 7 footer, and anyways, so I'm in Vegas, of course. You know, I pull out the good ones. So there's this.
The red bottoms.
No, I ain't got no red bottoms. No, they're just from Ross.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure they're
all right.
From Ross.
13,000 Ross stores in Vegas.
Ross. So I'm going to, you know, we're getting out the limo. We're going to step up on the curb. You know, just like a normal size curb, and my foot that was supposed to hit the curb, you know, so I missed it, like completely missed it. Went face first down, one onto my left knee, one onto my elbow. I guess there was an elbow there.
Elbow's one that you kept complaining about.
Yeah, well, I'm a hairstylist. I gotta use my arms. So I literally busted all measures of level of, I busted my ASS. Like, I bit it bad.
Yams all over the place.
But like almost too soberly bad.
She didn't believe it either.
So what was cool was my girlfriend was next to me and the limo driver was on the other side. They picked me up so fast from falling that the bromance that was happening, no one ever seen what happened. And I played out the rest of the night, like literally crying underneath my own little tears because it hurt that bad. Because I really hurt myself. I mean, you got to think about it. That's like 6 inches up off of the... Yeah. So it was funny because the next day, the bromance was happening. They were like, what happened to your knee and your arm? And then me and my girlfriend were like, nothing. And I'm like... I expect to come home to my son. I'm like, Damien. Like, oh my gosh, I hurt myself. No one seen it. No one seen it though. No one seen it. But yeah, so I go to my son. I console my son a lot. You know, I was 21 when I had him. So and I'm 36 now. So we grew up together. So I share things like that with him. So that's why I brought him here because you know he's really close with me and you know we're pretty honest with each other.
She didn't even want to go to work for like another week.
I didn't want to go to work. No.
Just a shame.
I was injured.
She couldn't cook. She was.
I was injured.
Then she gonna act like she can't stand.
Nope. Couldn't.
She couldn't drive because she couldn't move her knee.
Just all that complaining. Get it together.
I'm an Aries.
She had a bruise and a scrape. But she thinks she had like a broken bone.
Yeah, I really think
a lacerated knee.
Should have got an X-ray.
Should have got a Band-Aid.
Ouch.
I did have like 6 Band-Aids.
Listen, thank everyone that's in right now, and I do see some coming in, dipping out, coming in. We thank you anyway for joining in and continuing to support. Again, by the end of the month, we are going to be on the Mordsgiggles I Said It page only. I know my page, my personal Asian Mortar Horse Facebook gets the most of the traffic, but I want you guys to transition to the Mordsgiggles I Said It page. That's MORDSGIGGLE space I Said It all mashed up. ISAIDIT, and friend request that page. I'm trying to send it out. There's so many of you guys. I even just put it on my page yesterday. So just go to the doggone page now, because I actually want to just stream it from one page. I'll share it on my page after the fact, but I want to just stream it from the Mordsgiggles I Said It page. Make sure you like, share, tell a friend, tune in, tune out, do what you do, and continue to show your support. I am very, very, very humbled by the response I've been getting. This is my first time doing something like this, and you guys make it seem like I've been doing this for years. And I, again, am humble, and I'm so thankful for all you guys' support. So before we get out of here, I do want to ask the kids here, and this is something that's going to be an ongoing theme here on the show, because I think we need to... what is your deal? She keeps touching me. Stop. Weirdo. Now you made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
She does it all the time, slowly, so I can think it's a bug. And then her hands were clammy. But no, kids, you know, I get you guys are in high school, but do you guys have any, you know, where do you guys see yourself for the rest of your high school and after high school? Are there any sports or anything, goals or aspirations you guys have right now?
No one sees that.
So,
For Ohio State?
no, never that.
Oh,
I mean, you guys beat us. I'll give it to you. But Oregon,
Oregon?
University of Oregon, yeah.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
But I see myself, at least my goal for by my senior year is to have a 4.0, well, between a 3.5 and a 4.0 GPA, and be ranked nationally for football. That's one of my biggest goals that I have for myself that I'm working my best to achieve. And then for after, I'm hoping to go, well, obviously I'm going to take whatever college I can get an offer from, but if I have the choice, I love to go a Pac-12 college in general, but the main college I really want to go to that I'm dedicating to go to is University of Oregon, the Ducks. And
Oh, you're a mess. You guys hear her laugh? Get out of here.
my mom doesn't want me to go there because they're all Washington.
Let me stop playing. I went to a trade school.
University.
I was TCC strong, okay?
Floor part 10.
They all went to university. Like a couple of my uncles went to the University of Washington, and they all count me as bandwagons because I don't like the Seahawks because they suck, and I don't like the.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh
whoa.
yeah.
Whoa. No, we're supposed to talk about your future.
Y'all heard him.
Just a minute. Let me
Okay,
finish.
he's a Cowboy fan.
No, never
No.
that. Not about them.
Aw.
I'm not about them boys. All right, but I'm a Falcons
What
fan.
about what other
We
sports?
blew it in the Super Bowl. I ain't
What
gonna
about
lie.
the other sports you play?
Soccer. Okay. Yeah. Soccer.
Okay.
School soccer. That's what I'm more focused on because obviously Stadium has gone to state a couple times. I mean, they lost this last year, 2-1. But at the same time, it's a good school for me because I know I have a lot of talent in soccer, which is my main sport I've been playing since I was 3, and I have a lot of talent in it. And I know I could obviously do good in that. And it's easy to backup plan. And then like if I were to go like for a career, like outside of sports, it'd probably be engineering because that's what I'm doing right now.
That's a big deal right there. And it's funny that, listen, a lot of kids can't get that far. They'll say it's sports and this, but when you get to the point, well, so what's your backup plan for when you're done with sports? I don't like to say, in case you don't make it. No. If this young man says he's working hard to go play sports, play football or soccer, he gonna get there. He work for it, he'll get there. And he already got a backup plan, and not just any, it's engineering. Come on now, if you guys ain't paying attention, somebody better say something. This is real. I almost came over there and gave you the full-blown bear hug. Okay, you would have been right on my bosom. I would have been here with you. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, because I have a class for 5th period in stadium, and right now we're just making stickers, but it goes from stickers to 3D printer to a laser engraver. Like, there's things that you wouldn't even, you hear the name, you're like, wow. Like, I still don't even know what half the things do. It's like, obviously a 3D printer is a printer that prints in 3D, but a laser engraver scared me because I didn't know what it was, and it sounded dangerous. And I saw that, like, nobody uses it, so I was like, yeah. I've been making stickers. It's pretty dope, but it's like they can make complex stickers, like real deal, like complex, and make sure you're cutting it and stuff. Cause you prints it. There's a cutter that actually cuts out the shape and stuff. So, yeah. That's one thing I was hoping on doing. And if you can go to building house engineering and designing houses and all that. Something that seemed interesting to do. And yeah, that's basically what I'm looking for at right now.
Congratulations. Look at you done raised them up right, girl. You done raised them right, girl.
Thank you.
Hey,
it takes a village.
Listen,
it takes a village.
So
They just
commendable. I mean, this is my first time meeting you, and it's it's very uplifting to hear a young man of 14 years old have those type of dreams and goals, and then backup goals. Like, that's a serious thing, and I hope my boys, I hope I do just as well with my boys, and they have that, because they all want to play sports. But when it comes to our young men, they can think as far as the sport, but then the backup after we're done with the sports, that's where there's a blank there. And I think this young man is far above his time when he already has that schedule. So congratulations to you, bro. Seriously. Okay. All right, what about you? Don't make me look bad up here. Huh? I'm sorry, go ahead.
This year I want to at least have a better GPA than I had last year. What I want to do when I a senior, I want to start getting, well, I want to say a senior, probably sophomore like me now, and like junior. I want to start getting into sports, just because it seems like I'm not really doing anything active, really, instead of being on my phone all the time. So I want to start making new friends, because I am very quiet. I want to start doing things out of school, so I'm not just bored and just going home and just being on my phone watching TV. After high school, I'm still looking for a college that I want to go to. I'm not really looking for one that's like out of state, because I don't like being away from home. I get homesick, and
Yes, she does. Is there
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, okay? I mean, I don't know if there's any, like, certain person in particular you can't stand being away from.
my dad.
That's so true. She can't. It's so weird. Our bond is so weird. It's like I birthed her myself. That's weird. Anywho,
Okay.
that came out wrong. What about job wise or goal wise, sweetheart? Is there anything that you like now that you feel you want to get into, or that you find interesting?
I've been starting to, well, my goals have really changed what I wanted to be since I was little. At first, I wanted to be a doctor. That changed to I wanted to start being is it a photographer, taking pictures, not of myself, but just taking pictures. Now I'm kind of getting into either being a nurse or helping the special ed. Yeah, I like to help. I actually do help them at school too.
My daughter got a soft spot for the special needs.
Hey, my sister, she's a teacher. She's a special ed teacher at Geiger Elementary School.
See?
She's been doing it for about, I want to say 19 years, and I volunteer. You should come here and volunteer and paint. We do like paint and we do a paint class for them. It's very rewarding. That's a very rewarding thing that you should be proud that you have that ability because it takes patience and I don't have patience for my kids, but somehow I have patience for them.
For real. That's serious.
And also I like talking to people about their problems because a lot of my friends do come to me about their problems and I'm told that I give good advice. So I would like to be a counselor, help people who are depressed, sad, help them feel better, help them make good decisions, stuff like that.
You done did my heart good today. She's so precious. She got this little boy at school named Trey that keep trying to get at her. And I keep telling
She's
her,
like, please stop.
I keep telling her, like, until he meets me, it's a no-go. Any dances or anything. He's going to meet me. He's a good kid, actually. I see where she paints this picture where I'm this big, intimidating guy. Not that I'm going to be over the top when I see him, because I am. But that's what I'm supposed to do. Listen, you guys know what it is. This is Nene. Why almost just grab your son like that too and say this is I was that close to doing it,
Hey.
and I had to pull my.
You've been like me, like, are you touching me?
Well, before we leave, we got about 5 or 10 minutes left. I wanted to give some time for you to actually promote your businesses.
Who, me?
You.
Oh.
I mean, listen, I know what you got going on, but I'm pretty sure there's some people watching with some nappy head and hunger to sip some wine and paint, possibly.
Well, minus the fact
Make sure you
that
tell them your business name,
I did
too.
not. This is my day off, so there's no makeup, there's no eyelashes. The hair is clean though. The hair is clean. It was my wash day today. But again, I'd like to say that I own my own salon. I'm working on 17 years being licensed as a cosmetologist. I'm actually in Tacoma, Washington. I graduated from Clover Park Tech. Man, I made a big decision actually when I was a junior in high school that four-year college wasn't for me. I've always been an artist. I won the 2000 high school art show of Washington State for glass blowing, so I did the Hilltop Artist in Residence program too. I didn't do any of that work, but it sure looked good because that stuff does not take one person. But definitely the opportunity to be able to do that. My salon, again, is called Salon Dama. That's D-A-M-A. Stands for daughter-in-law. I like to joke and say daughter of Mary because my mother is also a big part of what I'm doing right now. And she's been recently retired with the News Tribune. And before that was Channel 11 TV stations for 27 years. So she is a big part of helping me financially grow my business. I am currently leasing stations, so I have about 2 stations full-time available off of 38th and Yakima, so it's kind of it is in the Lincoln District.
38 in Yakima,
Yes,
player.
right next to Ready or Not Ink, so I also like to support Samara Ward, which is a tattoo artist, and her tattoo shop's right next to me. And
Nice.
also, I have a mobile painting business that I'm really trying to get back rolling again. I started it a few years ago. So I'm actually your instructor. I actually am a mobile business. That's Tilted Canvas 253. I tilt your canvas to give you that creative eye, just like when you see somebody at an art gallery and they look at the paintings and they tilt their head. Well, let's just say we're not all artists, but I'll definitely tilt that canvas to make you see the potential of your ability.
She'll tilt the hell out of that canvas.
So I've done some events on my own that people have come to. I've done some at my salon now that I have my own building. But I also normally am a mobile business. Before I told his daughter that I actually volunteered multiple times at Geiger Elementary School, where I love to deal with kids, and I really think that the special ed kids are probably like my favorite, honestly, when it comes to teaching, because they are beyond talented than any other mind can actually even observe. You'd be surprised. Special needs only means how much more genius that they are in abilities that a lot of normal people can't really see. So yeah, you can find me on Facebook, and you find me on Instagram. I'm xTinaMarie143 on Instagram. That's Tilted Canvas 253. Also Salon Dama Tacoma. I'm on Facebook. I don't know, just follow Asian. Hopefully I'll be invited to be back on the show and be able to participate a little bit more. And that's kind of sums it up for me. That's 253-370-2769. I accept text messaging, and it's the best way to book with me.
Book winner player. Okay. If you got a kitchen that is all the way toe up,
Okay,
I done
yeah.
seen some of y'all. Listen, she'll hot comb it out.
I don't have a hot comb. But
Okay. If you got some braids that need to be laid, she'll come in and slay it. Holler! If you got a do that looks like boo boo, you can get at her too. Shaboink. All right, that's what I'm done. But
in cahoots with.
Don't start.
I want to thank you all three of you guys, for being my special guest today. Again, I do this not just for myself. This is actually about a year earlier than I even thought I would even be doing something like this. But when I started my Mordsgiggles entertainment business 3 years ago, I never thought it would take off the way it did. The comedy went amazing. I tell people I made a lot of money. I had a lot of fun. I traveled and did a lot of shows. And this year, to date, since 2019, I have not done one show. And a lot of people were in my inboxes asking, like, where's the next show? When are you going to do something? And I had to tell them, like, after the fact, that it's easy for me to go out and tell jokes, go out and sing and stuff like that. But the part that you have to be mindful is the business aspect behind it. So I've been taking this year to get everything in order, to get my ducks in a row, to actually strategize and calculate how I want to make my next moves, because I know when all else fails and it's my time to go, I want to leave my kids with something that their dad built that they could be proud of. So I'm very humbled, and I definitely want all of you guys back on again, not just, Christina. I want all you guys on here again, to be here, sit with Asia, Papa Bear, super duper plus size sexy teddy bear that I am. You guys know what's up. And I just want to thank you. Again, this is a Mordsgiggles Isaidit online radio podcast. Monday through Thursday, 5 to 7, and Friday, 7 to 9. Please keep in mind, we have the Love Connection that we're going to be doing with Miss Chantel Jackson, and that is coming up real quick. We're still looking for 2 more men to screen, so we can set you guys up with Miss Chantel Jackson. Remember, her words, not mine. She wants you to be a real man about your business. No Crips or East Siders. That's what she said.
So she takes bloods?
She said no Crips or East Siders.
Okay, but
What if you're not from the east side?
Oh, okay. We got another man right here. He's trying to get at you, Chantel. And you gotta be BBW friendly, because she's a BBW. She's a cutie pie, but she has her own business. She's also an entrepreneur as well. But as I've been saying, she hasn't had a man since a man last had her. So we're trying to get her out there, get her on a date. No, I am not funding it. If you guys want to go to Taco Bell, I'll get you guys a couple of $5 boxes. I can do that. The budget, I can do that. That's about it. We're not sending anybody to Sizzler or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Anybody?
Hey, over here, I actually didn't realize there was still one. It's off of South Dakota Way, off of 512 South Dakota Way. That's what there's one over there.
Delicious.
Is that
Delicious.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steak.
Yeah.
Well, again, this is the Mordsgiggles. I said it.
Oh, look at Corinne Brown. That's a
podcast.
fellow false falcon right there.
Ah, listen, everyone who has came in, whether you stayed, whether you peeked and left, and a lot of you guys I saw come in, leave, come back. I get it. It's almost a 2-hour show. We got things to do. A lot of us have kids. But just the fact that you guys are taking the time out of your days to pay attention to what little old me is doing, it very, 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 very much humbles me. Keep your hands off me. And I thank you guys for that, okay? I really do. Thank you for coming, young man.
Yeah.
Okay? Got your nose. Boop. This is Agent Mordhorse again, signing out. I will see you tomorrow, same time, 5 o'clock. Actually, that will be about 5:15. Y'all know I don't start on time. But anyway, everyone have a great night. Everyone say bye.
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 Bye.